Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus, and this is Ovesh Srivastava. Please do subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today, we are going to analyze Accenture's fourth quarter result for the financial year 24. And joining us, Mr. Milind Mutalik, who is a renowned HR thought leader and former Chief People Officer at Accolite Digital. Welcome, Milind, and thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Romesh, as always, and thank you so much uh, for bringing me back again to do some work and come back to you. Yeah,
Milind, recently the Accenture has announced its fourth quarter result. Means because Accenture follows September to August financial year, so this is August ending result, you can say. So if we look at the two figures first, so one is the revenue and another is the headcount. Headcount is very important because the company has added around 24,103 employees in last quarter. In fourth quarter of financial year 2024, can say in last 3 months, this is a good addition. And if you look at the revenue part, so in third quarter it was $16.5 billion, and slightly it is less $16.41 billion. So not
yeah.
bad. How do you see these two figures first?
Okay. So one very important point I want to drive is Accenture, whatever promises they have made, they have come through on it. Okay, so they have never said that they're going to be doing a, quite a high performance. They gave a range, and they 2% to 5% was the range given, and they have done 2%. Okay, I think quarter to quarter there may be a shift from one quarter to another, but the hiring of 24,000 resources within one quarter itself shows that there is definitely a good amount of things lying ahead. And in their outlook for the next period also, they have been going very positive. Yeah. So my quick comment would be they are going steady. And this also gives a confidence to a lot of us saying that now from here it's going to go up rather than, being facing any of the hurdles. So that would be my first response.
If you look at the other figures of the Accenture's fourth quarter result, so we have seen the new order booking. So there are two figures. If you compare the third quarter and fourth quarter, so in third quarter it was $21.1 billion, and in the fourth quarter it is a $20.1 billion. But there is an addition of $1 billion in the generative AI. So total for the new order booking, that is a $3 billion for the generative AI. So market is, they are adding client into the generative AI. How do you see
Absolutely.
the market? And another important figure is if you look at the consulting business. So consulting business to manage businesses to input, manage services businesses to input. So companies also
Yeah,
getting more revenue from the managed business. How do you see the market? How the numbers
absolutely.
there would be?
Yeah. I think very good question. Few aspects I touch here. Number one, if you look at the overall order book, that's 81 billion, 81.2 billion. And at the same time, as you said, the addition is 14% more in this quarter is something which has been indicated in one of the, reports. The very important thing and a trend which has been seen is the tendency towards managed services is coming more as compared to consulting. Now, this primarily goes to say that there are more of a implementation, change management, or such other projects which are more in offing. And if you look at the trend, I was trying to look at the numbers. Typically, if you look at the trend of orders which has come in, it shows that if I'm not wrong, 53% or something is managed services, whereas the consulting is reducing to the extent of 46% or something. So the gap which used to be 49 and 51 is growing further in the order booking. Now, that could be one of the reasons that you are having more of, 57 and 43 is a quarter four order booking typically, where shows, overall consulting share is reducing and managed services share is increasing. Okay. What does that goes to show? This is going to definitely have, more manpower to be added up. Okay. Also, this another very important thing which you see is Accenture in their statement or key highlights have made a mention that they're going to hire India manpower more. They're looking at their pyramid. And the minute you come to the managed services, if you have to really look at the bottom line, you need to manage your cost. And that being the reason, they said they will look at the pyramid. And they said they're going to hire the freshers. They're already in the campuses and they have been hiring. 2,20,000 employees are there in India and they would like to increase further. I'm sure with a lot of other situations happening in the world, be it US, be it Europe, immigration issues, geopolitical issues, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of India focus, and managed services definitely is going to have India account coming in. Now, this is on the part of the manpower or the trends which are showing impact on the manpower. There's another part which you've said is order booking on AI. And there also, if you look at the Accenture detailing, they have trained 55,000 manpower into AI, which is by 2026, they want to do 80,000 employees being ready for AI. Okay. And, they've also given as to what kind of learning hours, 1.1 billion in learning and development has been spent by them. So I think the right focus on the new technologies which are coming up, as I was making mention, 57,000 practitioners, again 80,000 is the FY26 targets they already achieved. Okay. And as I made a mention about the hiring, so both the things are happening together, adding the manpower, which I personally feel the focus is going to be more in India, because you're able to churn, you're able to have the better numbers here in terms of, if you want to do a hiring in big numbers, you are able to do it in India. And I feel these two or three aspects: number one, managed services; number two, manpower demand; number three, demand of the manpower, which is good at coming up, or new technologies. Okay, so these are the three aspects which I see out of the trends which are coming up.
Absolutely, it sounds very positive. And if you look at the growth guidelines by the Accenture, so have given the growth guidelines for the financial 25, the 3 to 6%. That's a quite good expectation. And but there is one thing which is generally we take the Accenture result as a clue for how the Indian IT companies are performing. But in Indian IT companies, we have also the major share around 34%. That is financial services, which we can see there's a dip even in Accenture's result. Otherwise, for the communication, media, for the health, public, everywhere, they are doing the good business. In with these results, how do you see how would be the performance of IT companies? Those we can see in next week or so. Then how do you see how is going to be the performance in Indian IT companies?
See, one of the things which I observed, but the minute the results were declared, I was observing the news. Immediately, the share prices of Indian IT companies, especially top ITs, like of Infosys, TCS, Wipro, have gone up by 3 to 4%. So market is taking it positively that if Accenture results come in and they are showing the growth, I think again, if you look at the managed services part, which could be even, if I go by the thumb rule of 50%, then out of 64 billion, if they're going to do 30 odd billion, 32 odd billion out of managed services, I'm sure India is also going to have a traction. Though we say the Accenture business is different than what Indian companies do as a business, but I feel there is definitely overlap at various places, especially now when the new technologies, emerging technologies which has come in, which are AI, machine learning, cloud, data analytics, big data, ML, all this is bringing up a lot of pie which could be taken up by anybody. I think that is a positivity which I see, that it is giving a very optimistic kind of a situation or scenario context for the Indian companies to look at this whole thing in a positive manner. Also, if you look at the traction, I'm just changing the gear and coming to campus hiring. You see Cognizant, Capgemini, Accenture already in the campus. TCS has already done their round and they have actually onboarded. Infosys cleared their last year's backlog by hiring June, in the month of June, July itself, they have onboarded 3,000 plus. I think this traction itself shows that everybody is looking at these trends to encash onto. And, I have been always optimistic and say that finding the clue where we will able to see the growth. And I think, yes, the companies are very optimistic. That's where they have gone to the, campuses and hiring. When you ask me for a campus, I'll give you further detailing as to what are the trends I see or I have read somewhere. Yeah.
True, true. Growth guidance is really very optimistic, and people are enthusiastic about this 3 to 6% growth for the financial 2025. If you look at the financial year 2024, so first the Accenture said 2 to 5%, then they reduced it to 1 to 3%, then again 1.5 to 2.5%. So now 3
Yes.
to 6%, yeah, definitely it gives a motivation to overall IT industry.
Yep. Yeah.
Coming to another data, if we look at the attrition part, so attrition is 14%, which was also 14% last quarter, but in first quarter and second quarter, it remained 13%. So slightly 1% rise in the attrition. How do you see this number?
Yeah, one of the things, see, if you look at and go into little deeper, they have done an acquisition. Okay. And for the next year also, the fund has been set aside for acquisitions. I think 6 billion has been set aside for the acquisitions. Now, whenever there's a merger acquisition, there's definitely a leveling up happens. And wherever there is a overlap, there are chances that you would have to reduce the numbers. Now, if you look at it, overall, you don't find the numbers going down. Overall, the numbers are up. However, attrition would go up only if there is a market traction. So 1% attrition is, there are two, three factors I would say. One could be, the pull factors, which are typically some other companies are looking at the good talent and somebody who's got trained in, Accenture, artificial intelligence and other things. They want to hire this kind of guys. Two, at the same time, merger acquisition would bring in some level up, or maybe wherever there is overlap, they're going to reduce that number. And the third factor may be normal attrition. So I don't think 14 or 13 would be a big number to look at. Obviously, when you look at the big number of employees, which are 7 lakhs, 1% also counts a lot. Yeah. But I think these two, three factors I feel would be the pull factor, new technologies, merger acquisition, and maybe overlap are the three aspects which I'm looking at.
Yeah, absolutely, 14% is not a bad number. So if we on the basis of this data, if we try to conclude that how we can see the hiring trend in the lateral hires in coming quarters in India.
So one very important thing I would say, lateral hires are already working towards ensuring that they are able to acquire the knowledge on the latest technologies or coming up technologies where they can be useful. And that being the reason, I feel very clearly at least two-digit trend, 10%, because we used to say about 6% to 8% is coming up anyway. I feel it's going to be 10% or could be more, 1 or 2% here and there in case of lateral hires because of the new technology. If Accenture has backed the order of 900 million on AI or nearly 1 billion on AI, I'm sure Indian companies would also do on the similar lines. And that being the reason, lateral hiring is unavoidable. That's the first point. The second point, coming to now the campus, you find all the IT companies have resumed the recruitment drives into the campuses. I know some of the campuses here from Pune where they have declared how much have been hired by one of the IT companies in different specialization. So TCS, Mindtree, Accenture, Cognizant, Capgemini is already currently either running or they have already finished their drives. Then GCCs and non-tech companies are also going into the campuses to see that they are able to do the hiring. GCCs obviously were the good customer last year also for the campus hire. Then coming to like of TCS, Infosys, Wipro already have declared their number like 40,000, 20,000, 12,000. HCL is looking at 10,000. So here itself lakh or something is coming up as a number here. And as I made a mention last time, this time I'm sure they will be able to do a very healthy numbers there in case of campus. One of the trend which I've seen, domain specialization, be it a cloud computing, cybersecurity, analytics, data, AI, ML. A lot of companies are also taken an initiative to train the campus grads. And if they are trained, they've done their so-called internship, they've been offered a better salaries and they've been coming up as a specialist, not the fresher hire. And the salaries are anywhere between 6 lakhs, say 6, 7, 8 lakhs kind of a salaries are coming up for them. So see, look at the change. Even the last 1 year when there was no demand, even campuses have started working on ensuring that they get their, freshers acquire new technologies and they're able to command the premium there. So 6 to 9 lakhs or 6 to 8 lakhs kind of a money is coming to the people who are really trained and done the internship. And as I made a mention, there was a step forward taken by some of the companies who went and trained the campus grads and ensured that they are ready for deployment. And that being the reason I'm saying these two aspects, fresher as well as lateral, is going to be real positive, kind of trend in next 6 to 8 months time.
Right. So taking your point around 10% into the lateral hire, so maybe we can expect with the Accenture around 38 to 40,000 people that would be hired in India. Lateral hire we are talking about as far as the campus hire and the freshers hiring is concerned. So if we take the number around 6-7% around, so we can see also the good hiring into the freshers case, also into the campus hiring. If you look at the previous announcement of the companies like TCS has announced 40,000 people they will have as a fresher for the campus hiring, and the Infosys around 15,000, 18,000 or so, Wipro 10,000, 12,000, SCL Tech. So there's a good number already they have announced. How do you see this number is going to increase in this coming quarters for the freshers?
Actually, when you give the offer, the joining happens maybe, post, I would say maybe a season, depending on each company's cycle. But once they offer it in 3 months' time to, maybe 3 to 5 months, the offers are not delayed further to that. Because if you are given an offer, you want to get them onboarded. And today, it's not the time where the situations are bad where they have to wait. If you look at what we have discussed, even Indian IT companies' results, Infosys was very positive on their outlook. HCL was positive on their outlook. HCL was saying they'll jump back from their whatever problems they have had. The similar way, Wipro would definitely want to recover because they have now actually degrown or got the negative revenue for last 2 quarters, so they want to come back. I think looking at all these aspects of Indian companies, TCS already has an order book plus the so-called the projects to be implemented already in the hand worth few billions. So I think all this, in 3 months' time, all these people will be deployed and you will able to see, another part of the story is attrition for the lateral may go up.
Right. Though right now we see a lot of hiring and the for sure maybe the companies are doing a lot of walk-in interviews, TCS doing a lot of walk-in interviews, and all the companies, I think all the all the IT giants in India, they're doing good hiring as far as the freshers is concerned. Recently, there is also one news from the Accenture side that they have shifted, they have changed their promotion cycle, and that is from June to now. From this would be from December to June now. How do you see this sentiment? If the promotion is getting delayed, then it means the increment that would be also getting delayed in that case. That can
Yes,
increase some attrition in company.
there are two aspects. First of all, if the reason is well known to the employees, saying that it is not been done for any of the reason where they want to penalize the employee, but it has been done with the reason of financial adjustment that they would like the cash flow not to be hampered or bottom line not to be hampered. If there's a right commitment saying that the percentage is not going to change, only the period is going to change. Okay. I think that would give a good kind of a I always feel that right communication and right information to the employees would not create misunderstanding. But if it is not being managed well, okay, then it would create a problem. However, looking at Indian scenario today, the way the whole market is, I don't think it's going to have an impact immediately. Okay. Today, while we are talking Accenture and others doing very well, we at the same time, in the same breath, we see Cisco, getting rid of employees, or for that matter, Samsung is getting rid of employees, Dell is reducing the employees. So this is not all great and all good situation at this point of a time globally. And under the circumstances, people taking a harsh decision of leaving a job just for the sake of promotion, I don't think would be a right judgment at this point of time. And many of them, if they consult their mentors, if they consult within the company in the right way, I'm sure they'll able to make this change through without much of a damage.
Right. So coming back to again on hiring part. So based on this order, based on this result, how to see that what kind of the skills that could be in demand? Maybe with the Accenture, and you can generalize as well for the IT, other IT companies in India.
See, all the IT companies would hire, especially in terms of new technologies, because there are two ways if you look at the work which will come to you. One is obviously doing the new technologies, two, transforming from the old to new. And that being the reason, you need both the hands. You need laterals who are able to understand the current system to take it to the next level. And you need a more working hands with the freshers who are knowing the things and they're able to execute that also. So I'm saying combining together campus this time, I feel the highest record, as I made a mention to you, was in 2022 of 6 lakhs. I think we'll able to reach to that or somewhere near that. That is my personal wish and my feeling. Okay. Two, when it comes to lateral, as I said, all the IT companies are looking at hiring now, especially with the right technology and right skills. And I'm sure all the candidates also are aware of what skills they are supposed to have to be hired. I think this is something working out well. And that being the reason, as I made a mention to you, 10% is very clearly an indication. Now, I'll go back to, the few calls earlier, which I've said, if Indian IT companies, Twitch company, which I said is really bringing a revenue of somewhere in the range of 98 billion or 100 billion, okay, which does not include Accentures of the world. So if this 100 billion even grows, and as I made a mention to you broadly, there are, about 20 lakhs employees, 18 lakhs or 20 lakhs are making that happen. And tomorrow this increases even by 5% overall, a 5 billion increase in the year, you're definitely going to need a manpower, which is, so-called 5% more than this or 10% more than this, which would be very easily about, 3 to 5 lakhs. Now, how do you bring in laterals into that? How do you bring in fresh graduates or campus graduates? Or, as I said, now the changes there are in between people who are trained, who are being offered 6 to 9 lakhs. They are not completely lateral, but they are not completely freshers. So there's a new, one more breed which has been coming in, or a skill set, or a people who are coming at a different level. So I think all these combinations would bring, I believe, between these two, at least, 10% there and about 5-6 lakhs here would be the, hiring trend in next 6 months to 1 year. That's what my feel is. Not 1 year, rather, I would say, everything would be towards April, March kind of, where the things would close, or hiring will go up during the first quarter of 2025 for the lateral, whereas, campus has already started making the, so-called actions, and the hiring or offering has already started.
So now, if you look at the financial part, so in the financial year 2024, the company has deferred also the salary hike for all the employees. And again, we have seen the promotion cycle is changed, that is shifted from uh, December to June. It means somehow the focus of the company is in managing the finances of this. How do you see
Absolutely.
after this December, what the percentage of salary hike the employees can expect in Accenture? And there are a lot of positions that would be around 40,000 or so, the numbers lateral hires also for the hiring in India. So what they can expect, what percentage of the hike they can get if they're joining the Accenture?
See, it's difficult to, kind of, I'll say predict the percentage, but I would say it's going to be conservative. I'll tell you why. Because margins point of view, if you look at Accenture has given you the prediction for 2025, but the margins have remained same. Then, whatever the bottom line they have said would be 15 point some percent, which is equivalent to this year. Now, the minute you get the projects where you are able to have extra cash flow, see, major cost in any IT company is, whatever 45 to 55% cost is going to be a manpower cost. And even across the board, if you give 5% hike, okay, across the board, it impacts your bottom line by 2.5%. And that's a big hit. I think somewhere, if companies have to do well, they will have to go conservative way till the time they're able to encash really and get more margins where they're able to pay the employees. Leave about Accenture, but Indian IT companies are typically having a longer contracts. As we discussed few calls earlier, they have a longer contracts of 5 years. Okay, they've already squeezed on their margins, and if within this particular thing, giving the increments which are really high would be a difficulty for many of them. So I think at least for next 1 year, I see a conservative outlook. Uh, the increases would not be 2 digit is my comment. It should be more. I wish, but affordability point of view, if you look at everybody's margin, we have looked, all the Indian IT companies like TC, the top of the notch, the margins are really under pressure. So conservative thing is something which is my thought process.
Think we have been trying to touch upon all the important points of this fourth quarter result and what may be a trend after this fourth quarter result as well in India to the Indian IT companies. Anything else which is important and we did not discuss here, like to share?
No, I think Accenture results, one very important thing is gave an optimistic outlook that this is going to help. If you look at even one of the comment which I wanted to make is growth regions which they talk about have shown the growth of 7%. Okay, and that's a very good comment from my perspective. Contextual advantage for the Indian IT is, manpower hiring is going to be more in India as compared to rest of the regions because of disturbances, either economical or others, in a different regions. Also, immigration point of view, if you look at it, becomes very difficult to send the people to US these days. And this is the precise reason, be it Europe, be it US, bit of immigration issues are around. So I think today it's a India scenario where we will able to get more skilled people employed in India. That would be my comment.
Right, right. So if we try to summarize as far as the trend is concerned, so already the companies are hiring, maybe all the IT companies in India as well, but we can see the more numbers in the financial year 2025 here as well, including the Accenture. But as far as the salary hike is concerned, taking your point that it may remain little conservative, maybe at least for the 1 year more. Thank you so much, Milind, for joining the conversation and
Thank you.
sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.